He still has the Reds' Sheikh Doucoure in sight. Liverpool are in the market for another midfielder, and recent reports have linked them to Crystal Palace's Sheikh Doucoure. Doucoure is a Malian actor who spent the early part of his career with Lens. He started his professional career with the club sitting in League 2 in 2018. Yet they were promoted for 2 seasons at this level, and Doucoure continued to impress in France's top flight. These performances landed him in a £26 million deal last summer to Crystal Palace. Doucoure is a defensive midfielder, and WhoScored's data places him in either a deep midfielder or a more traditional central midfielder role. Wherever he is, Malili has taken on roles that are all about reclaiming the ball and protecting his back four. If Liverpool can find a deal with Palace, that would be the main reason they signed it. Doucoure is a player who puts defense first. According to FBref data, he averages just over a 90-minute shot, but is rarely involved in a playmaking game. Doucoure went into the penalty area only 11 times last season. It wouldn't be a surprise to learn that he doesn't dribble often, either. He tried to beat someone just 21 times last season. So keeping in mind what Doucoure wants to do, it's easy to see why Liverpool are interested. His standout stat is that the player averages 1.8 interceptions per game. This data put him in the top 3% of midfielders in Europe's top 5 leagues. Doucoure is among the top 15% of midfielders for the percentage of dribblers in the final third fights and combined events. Overall challenges won were also in the top 13%. It is not easy to find a player who can do all this to a high level. It is worth noting that Doucoure is also consistent with the ball. He rarely tries to recruit players, but when he does, he's very successful. All in all, Doucoure is an incredibly consistent player and someone with a very bright future. Doucoure is still only 23 years old, and all these impressive stats came in his first Premier League season. Not only that, Palace wasn't particularly consistent last season, even changing their manager halfway through. There is every reason to believe that as part of a more consistent side, Doucoure could improve quite a bit even next season, whether at Selhurst Park or Anfield. This is of course a big concern for Liverpool fans. The Reds have had some excellent midfielders in recent years, but almost all of them have struggled with serious injuries. Doucoure is actually quite exceptional in this regard. The Malian player has suffered only one notable injury in his entire career so far. He had a muscle problem in early 2021 that only caused him to miss 1 game. According to the Liverpool front, Doucoure will replace Fabrizio in the squad. The Brazilian is expected to go to Saudi Arabia on a £40 million deal to Al Ittihad. The midfielder passed a health check earlier this week and was excluded from the club's pre-season trip to Singapore. This is quite reasonable as change is on the horizon at Liverpool. Sources say Doucoure earns around £60,000 a week. His salary is likely to increase a little more if he joins Liverpool. That's the same number Adrian won at Anfield. Therefore, it will not be difficult to convince Malili. However, the same is not true for the club. BBC correspondent Alex Howell said Crystal Palace will be asking around £70 million to sell Doucoure this summer. It will be interesting to see if the Reds are willing to pay that price. The Reds have made an offer to Josko Gvardiol. Liverpool have reportedly made a bid to sign Leipzig defender Josko Gvardiol ahead of their Premier League rivals Manchester City. The Reds and Jürgen Klopp have been relatively busy so far in the transfer market this summer, and Anfield has had a number of ups and downs, especially in midfield. Another midfielder appears on Anfield's radar, with Southampton's Romeo Lavia being the top target, and James Pearce believes a compromise is increasingly likely to be reached. However, it looks like a new centre-back could be in the cards, alongside another midfielder, Torino's ties to Pershurs and now Gvardiol. Gvardiol was heavily linked to his move to Etihad Stadium this summer. Fabrizio Romano said earlier this month that a fee was agreed between the two clubs and that the player even had some of his medical condition. However, a move by Liverpool and their owners FSG making their own moves aimed at missing out on City's deal is yet to be formally completed. Paisley-Gate cited an update from Spain regarding Liverpool and Gvardiol, claiming that the Reds are one of the sides looking to take advantage of the current stalemate between Manchester City and Leipzig. Liverpool allegedly submitted an offer to sign Gvardiol, which is worth around £86 million. Other Premier League rivals Chelsea and Manchester United are also pressing to secure the player's services, but City, who are still on pole. Gvardiol is a left-footed defender who is primarily a centre-back but can also play as a left-back if needed. The Croatian international left the Dinamo Zagreb academy and made 52 debuts before joining Leipzig in 2021. Since then, the 21-year-old has made 87 appearances for the Bundesliga team and his transfermarkt valuation has skyrocketed from €16 million to €75 million in 2 years. So it can be said that moving to Merseyside to play alongside Virgil van Dijk could be a perfect move by the Reds and Klopp with Gvardiol, who was called elite by football talent scout Jacek Kulik. Also, Gvardiol has already revealed in the past that he has sympathy for Liverpool and is a member club. "My dream club would definitely be Liverpool. Ever since I was little I watched most of their games with my father," he said. A deal for the defender looks like it could be a deal to consider in a busy August at Anfield both on and off the field. Gvardiol will not be easy to transfer and is on the market with a very high price tag. However, Liverpool's transfer of him means that they will both increase their own squad and get a good player that their opponent will take. So it looks like a pretty successful move. The ideal Liverpool team to start against Chelsea is starting to form. While Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai can do the job of multiple leaving players, especially given the injury histories of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita, they certainly can't take all the slack on their own. But time is running out for Klopp to unravel his squad, less than 2 weeks away from the Premier League's opening game against Chelsea. While the pre-season showed a lot of promise for Darwin Núñez, including a healthy goal scoring, it also brought some tough questions. Right at the top of the list is who plays Fabinho in Stamford Bridge. Liverpool cannot afford to be open to a Mauricio Pochettino side that wants to prove their positive credentials. So far, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Curtis Jones have been tried in the number 6 position. While they do well passively, they are not ideal candidates either. Other in-team options, notably Thiago and Stefan Bajcetic, have yet to fully recover from injury. Given the timelines in the game, it's hard to see the two of them start against Chelsea. Therefore, a new signature will need to be caught very soon. The obvious deal that seems to be settled quickly with a lot of pressure from the Liverpool side is Romeo Lavia. At the very least, he was in Southampton's pre-season, so he kept his form to some extent. And if the asking price is met, it will give Klopp the best hope for a result against Chelsea. Elsewhere in the team, the dilemmas are more positive. For example, who will start first is a question Klopp will have to grapple with throughout the season, and Liverpool has an overabundance of excellent options. Against Chelsea, Núñez should be nodding. This pre-season proved to be a threat given the offensive space. If Núñez doesn't surrender, Liverpool will be blessed with game changers from the bench, including Cody Gakpo and Diogo Jota. But amid his thriving partnership with Mohamed Salah, the Uruguayan deserved a chance. Here is the possible starting lineup against Chelsea: Alisson in the castle, Alexander-Arnold at right back, Konate and Van Dijk in tandem at centre back, Robertson at left back, Lavia, Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai in midfield. Diaz on the left, Núñez in the middle and Salah on the right.